And what's up, ladies and gents? Yes, it is that time again for an all-new episode of the Fusion Media Hub, only here on the Fusion Media Network. I, of course, am Jerry Kunith. Before I get down to business, I'd like to say one thing. In this past week or two, the network has grown exponentially, and I can't stress to you enough how proud I am of all the new directors that have signed on. These guys are very eager and willing, and they have some awesome content coming, so be sure to check out the channel from time to time. And of course, follow me on Twitter. I will keep you updated as well. But moving on to business. This week's game is actually an Xbox exclusive from the Xbox Live Arcade, and it'll also be reviewed by a new director that signed on in this past week, DC Legend 09. And this game, made by Supergiant Games, Bastion. And I have to tell you, after watching the review, after going through the gameplay clips, I haven't played it myself, I don't have an Xbox. What an amazing game, I have to say this. The art style itself is just phenomenal. That's what I think, but let's see what DC Legend 09 thinks in this in-depth review of Bastion.
What's up guys, I'm DC and welcome to my first review on the Fusion Media Network. Today I will be reviewing a game that came out back in July as part of the Xbox Live Summer of Arcade for 2011 and is also available on Steam, the action RPG, Bastion. The game takes place in the aftermath of the Calamity, a catastrophic event that suddenly fractured the world as people knew it into many pieces and led to an infestation of hostile creatures. Players take control of the Kid, a silent protagonist who awakens on one of the few remaining pieces of the old world and sets off for the titular Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in troubled times. He finds almost nothing left upon arrival, but is told by a wise old man that together they could build something special. The Kid then embarks on a quest to reconstruct the world the way it used to be, while the old man narrates his adventure and provides details on what exactly has happened. The Kid travels to 3 different overall areas: the remainders of the city, the wild unknown, and eventually, the Ura homeland. Getting to the meat of the review, let's look at the sound. The music in this game is good. Very good. It's difficult to explain, but the songs fit with the game so perfectly, and it seems the music creates some sort of magic that feeds the imagination. Cheesy, but completely true. My favourite piece is probably the ending song, called Setting Sail Coming Home. Here, have a listen. The sound in this game has kept me entertained for hours. I bought the soundtrack and find it just as good as the Portal 2 soundtrack, which is fantastic. The music in this game is the best I've heard in a video game for a while, and because of that I have no qualms about giving this game a rating of 9 for the sound. It is really good, and if you don't believe me, look it up on YouTube. Then you'll see how good the sound really is. Next up, the graphics. For an Xbox Live Arcade game, the graphics in this game are good. The background is styled incredibly well, and the worlds in which you go to all look visually stunning. The colour scheme is fantastic, and just the overall look of the game is really good. The artwork for the cutscenes is beautiful, and again, because the game just looks so magnificent, I have no problems with giving this game an 8.5 for the graphics. Finally, let's look at the gameplay. The gameplay is what makes this game. The combat system is great. You progress through levels, and as you do, you find new and interesting weapons to aid you on your quest. You are given the options of using a melee weapon and a long-range weapon, or 2 of each. My personal preference is to use the war machete and dueling pistols, but you should experiment with your own weapons and see what you're most comfortable with. In between missions, the player can engage in challenge courses designed to test the player's abilities at using each of the weapons the player has found. The challenges differ depending on the weapon. For example, the hammer, one of the weapons in the game, has its own challenge course where the player must destroy a certain number of objects with it within a given time. As well as challenge courses, the player can test weapons and loadouts by selecting any one of the 3 journeys to who knows where, to be selected when at the Bastion via 3 items the player finds as they progress. Through reviving the Bastion, you also uncover new ways to make the gameplay more interesting. The Shrine is one example, where you can select certain idols which will make the game experience more challenging, or you can go to the Distillery, where you can use spirits to make the game easier and upgrade yourself for tougher tests. The game incorporates a unique feature called dynamic narration. Rux, the old wise man, voiced by Logan Cunningham, serves as the game's narrator. As well as delivering story exposition, he will constantly give different commentary based on the player's action and style of play. For example, he might remark upon the player's affinity for a certain weapon if said weapon is frequently used during battle. One of my favourite lines is right at the beginning of the game.
Kid just rages for a while.
That line shows they really thought about this game. There just isn't enough to say about it. It really is brilliant, and for the gameplay, I give this a 9.5. It really is just that good. Overall, Bastion is a wonderful experience, and because of that, this game gets an overall score of 9 out of 10, which is positively harsh compared to some of the reviews of this game. The other thing about Bastion is that when you compare how most of the game companies can have hundreds of people working on it and still produce an average game, Bastion had 7 fucking people in a living room working on it. Let me tell you, buy this game. If you have a spare $15 or £10 or however many euros, buy it. You seriously will not regret it.
Windbags. Did anybody else survive? Sure enough, he finds another. He finds me.
Spectacular review and a very deserving score for Bastion. If I had an Xbox, I would definitely download it. Now, I'd like to say one thing about the Fusion Media Network. There's been a lot of drama going on recently about these partnered LPers selling out and making money. While the Fusion Media Network is a partnered channel, we do not make 1 penny, not 1 penny off of any of this. We do it for the pure fun. The Let's Players do it for pure fun. We are the pure YouTubers on YouTube. I'm very proud of that. And speaking of which, a lot of the new Let's Plays from a lot of these new directors are launched and are going to be launching soon. We have Fluffy54605, who is doing his Kirby's Epic Yarn Let's Play. We have DC Legend 09, who just did the review. He's still going on strong with his LA Noir Let's Play. We have a Majora's Mask 3-Heart Run Let's Play by Brand Tanuki. And of course, we have Zmarotrix doing his Mega Man 1 Let's Play. Be sure to check all these out. There is a playlist in the corner. And that's all I have for this episode, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time here on the Fusion Media Hub.